But anyways, let's get back into what we are actually here to go and talk about with our next story. And we're jumping from one streaming service, from Netflix to Paramount Plus, because lately, oh boy, Paramount has been getting a lot of crap recently. And some people have even mentioned how Paramount is seemingly being disrespectful to animation, especially with the fact that they have released one animated series just out of the blue, where it sounded like it would have been a major one that actually did include a pretty significant all-star cast in there, and they just stepped in and said, hey, just letting you know, we're going to be putting out a series based on Ark. Oh, really? Like the game? Yeah. Oh, cool. When is that coming out? Now. Just suddenly appeared. It's like, hey, look what's on Paramount Plus. Ta-da! Ark. With no advertising or anything like that. So definitely an unconventional approach when it comes to presenting your animated content, especially when you don't provide advertising whatsoever. But that's not what we're here to go and talk about. What we are here to discuss is regarding not what's coming or what came to Paramount Plus, but what's coming out from Paramount Plus, what it's leaving in terms of the platform. And there's going to be a lot of animated content that will no longer be there. Specifically, some Nickelodeon content that will be completely removed. And I do have my list here from Deadline, in which they stated that the following animated content that they are going to be removing, or at least live action animation hybrids and stuff like that, or, the best way to describe altogether, the Nickelodeon shows that they are going to be removing include Blue's Clues and You, the Are You Afraid of the Dark revival, It's Pony, Middlemost Post, Ollie's Pack, Ryan's Mystery Playdate, Santiago of the Seas, That Girl Lele, and a couple of Paramount exclusive shows like Big Nate and the Rugrats reboot. And the reason why they had to go and take them all out, of course, as you would expect, it's money. Money is the reason why they want to go and try to take it all out. Especially with the fact that they have been trying to go and really hype up on the fact that he's trying to go, or sorry, lost my train of thought there, but it's pretty clear that the reason why they want to go and try to remove the content, it's because of money, because they've been trying to go and anticipate on the fact that there's going to be a day when Paramount Plus is actually going to become profitable for the company, that somehow Paramount Plus will eventually go and turn a profit. But when is that actually going to happen? Well, I don't know, but at this point, they want to try to go and encourage that by trying to really go and motivate that profitability by making some sacrifices. In here it states, in connection with our continued review of our international content strategy during the first quarter of 2024, we made a strategic decision to focus on content with mass global appeal, the company said in its 10-K filing. As part of this, we are rationalizing original content on Paramount Plus, especially internationally, and improving the efficiency of our linear network programming. As a result, we have reviewed our expansive global content portfolio and are removing select content from our platforms. Paramount expects to recognize additional programming charges that we currently expect to be in the range of approximately $700 million to $900 million during the first quarter of 2024. So that's pretty much the big thing that is going on, and the big controversy that a lot of animation fans are massively upset about. The fact that Paramount Plus, they're doing the whole content cutting thing from their streaming platforms, very similarly to what Netflix, HBO Max, and Disney Plus, what they have been doing for a while now. Now it's going to be Paramount's turn, and they decided to cut down on a lot of animated content. And you may notice a little bit of a pattern where they're cutting down a lot of the recent works, because these are actually very recent recent shows that came out of Nickelodeon. Like the oldest that they have cut down are the ones that came out from 2019. So you got stuff like Blue's Clues and You, the Are You Afraid of the Dark reboot, also Ryan's Mystery Playdate. And then you got the rest that came out either like in 2020, 2021, or in 2022. Most of which, well, technically the series have officially ended. You know, they're not making any more episodes, so for them it's not really that much of a sacrifice. But the real concern is actually in regards to the shows that are still going on, especially when you have some that are major names, such as Blue's Clues and Rugrats. Some people have been speculating what is going on with those shows, and is it possible that maybe we could see a possible end to those runs, that rather it be the Rugrats remake or Blue's Clues and You, there will no longer be any more episodes. And what people have been speculating is that right now, those shows, they're going to be next in line to go on Nickelodeon's Green Mile that we know as Nicktoons. And whenever you see a show that suddenly they decided to go and make the move from their main platform to Nicktoons, that's when you know that, well, things are pretty much going to be over with those. And that's extremely shocking, especially when you have some that have some massive fanfare. And that is especially the case with the shows that I've been talking about, with stuff like Rugrats, or especially with Blue's Clues and You. And one thing that I want to go and ask, and I don't know if this might be a little bit of a hot take, but this is something that I am a little bit curious about, considering with this kind of move, and specifically with those shows in particular. Like, okay, it's one thing for Paramount Plus to go out of their way, and they decided to go and take down a whole bunch of shows that are from Nickelodeon. But if you are going to go and do that, why would you go after those shows and not the ones from Dan Schneider? I mean, we all know one of the hottest documentaries that we've got this year so far is Quiet on Set, which I've already talked about this on this podcast. You know, I've already expressed my thoughts on that, and even some of the recent controversies that came with it, which, by the way, they did recently announce they're going to do a 5th episode in which they're going to update some stuff, as well as having some of the people that they have interviewed, like some of the former child stars, like from all that and stuff like that, that they will come together and have a discussion about their experiences and how was their life afterwards, and how things have been since the documentary came out. So just want to go and quickly mention that. But what I'm wondering is, why, you know, considering that Nickelodeon has been in hot water, especially in terms of their empty response to the documentary, why don't you go and just remove the content from Paramount Plus? Why don't you go in and remove the Dan Schneider shows like All That, The Amanda Show, Zoe 101, iCarly, Sam and Cat, and some others, considering that now there's been a lot of drama that's related to those shows, especially with what happened behind the scenes that are really unappealing, and sometimes they can go into some really dangerous territories right there. Like, why are you sitting there, like, still trying to capitalize on those shows when a lot of what happened behind the scenes have been exposed and has been pretty dark, down to the point where, like, rewatching those shows for many people have been extremely difficult? Why don't you go and take those down so that you can save your money if you want to really go into that strategy? But we all know why they wouldn't go and do so, and that's because of money. Even the documentary acknowledges that some of these series, especially like with iCarly, they're still very popular on streaming. They're still like one of the hottest shows that you could find in stuff like Paramount Plus and in some other platforms as well, like Netflix. Paramount wouldn't want to go and try to take those content out in solidarity with the victims of those shows. They wouldn't want to go and do that because so far they've been making a profit for them. And right now, Paramount is just in the focus of trying to make as money as possible because they've been failing and failing pretty hard, to the point that the speculations of them either being completely bought out or merged with another company, it is still alive and well. So in that regard, it kind of leaves a bit of a bad taste. And like, maybe I could totally be wrong, and maybe it wouldn't be the best idea to go and remove those, to remove those shows from Paramount Plus and stuff like that. Maybe there could be a reason that I'm honestly forgetting why not to do that. But still, though, it kind of feels like, why are you doing nothing about any of the shows that Dan Schneider worked on and made an entire nightmare of a work environment when producing those shows? And instead, you just want to focus on Blue's Clues. Whoops. Oh, there it is. Okay, for a moment I was wondering, it was like, oh crap, the screen went black. What happened? No, okay, but like, stuff like Blue's Clues or Rugrats or what have you, like, why would you go and remove those shows? And I know a lot of people are pretty much upset or concerned what is going to be the fate of them. Does that, like, now the fact that these shows are removed from Paramount Plus, does that mean we are going to see the end of stuff like Blue's Clues and You, or Rugrats, or Big Nate, or Ollie's Pack, and all that kind of stuff? Are those shows going to be over? Well, honestly, the only thing I could say is, not really. I'm not 100% sure. I cannot necessarily confirm that, but one show that I know is still going to be going even after all this occurred is actually going to be Rugrats. Because I did hear, and this is a post made by Jerry Beck I saw on Facebook, he actually confirmed that the Rugrats series, or at least the Rugrats reboot, the cast actually recently finished doing all of their recordings, all of their lines are done, and now they're going to move forward with the animation, and the production shall continue on the new series of the Rugrats reboot. And I think it's safe to say that we could definitely trust Jerry Beck's word on it, considering that he is, not only, like, one of the most prominent animation historians out there, but he is married to Cheryl Chase, whom you may know as the voice of Angelica, not just in the original series, but also in this new reboot as well. So I'll definitely take his word for it on that. But yeah, like, that, at least that is the case with the Rugrats. Rather, if they got plans to go and continue stuff like Blue's Clues and You or Big Nate, that is one that I don't know if I can fully confirm on. Maybe they will. Apparently, I just saw in the chat wall, they did state there is a confirmation for Blue's Clues and You will have one more season. Now, I don't know if it's just one more season and that's it, but at least there is going to be a bit more content that will be coming from Blue's Clues and You. So at least in terms of the biggest shows, like from the biggest franchises from that list that has been removed, at least there is going to be a bit of a continuation on that. But still, though, I do understand the frustration that animation fans have been feeling in terms of this news right over here, because it's never fun when you hear about a streaming platform that decided that they're going to go and completely remove content again and again and again just to go and save up money. I know for a fact that Paramount Plus is not the first one to go and do it, nor they will be the last one to go and do it. Unfortunately, it has become a bit of a common practice for, like I said before, for other platforms such as Netflix, Amazon, HBO Max, for Disney Plus, like for all of them, that they would go and do so by taking out content and putting in some new ones again and again and again. It happens many, many times. So in that regard, yeah, I understand the frustration is alive and well, and especially the fact that most of these, or technically just about all of them, these are animated content. Like, these are animated shows that, like, even though, like, maybe they didn't necessarily last long, but, they still have their fans. They still have, an audience that wants to go and watch these shows. And the fact that they decided to go and completely take them out, from Paramount Plus, especially those that were exclusive to Paramount Plus, it's like, at this point, you're kind of encouraging audiences to go and pirate content. Like, how else are they gonna, how else are they gonna go and watch something like It's Pony or Middlemost Post or Big Nate? I mean, it's not like they actually released a DVD of those shows or anything like that. So at that point, they gotta go and, bring up the old torrent and just go and download them. Like that's pretty much the only way. If you're not going to be offering them, rather it be on Paramount Plus, or I know for a fact they ain't going to do so on Nickelodeon. They're not going to do it on that channel, considering that they're reverting back to their old habits of just showing, become a 24/7 SpongeBob station with maybe a little bit of Loud House. It's at the point where it's like, well, where else can you find this show? It's honestly ridiculous. So yeah, I get the frustration. Like, there is a bit of a silver lining that some of these shows are still going to be continuing, like Rugrats and Blue's Clues and You, but still, it's kind of, it really sucks when it happens, because it does reach a certain point where you have to ask, like, what are you even paying for that streaming service if they're just going to go and do that again and again of just taking away content that you're interested in watching? There's a bit of there's a bit of a factor where it can feel a little bit ridiculous, and you feel like you keep getting screwed over as a customer. So I just want to go and put out my thoughts on that. All right, so anyways, I would like to go now into the chat wall, and I would like to ask you all, what do you all think about the entire controversy with Paramount Plus removing a whole bunch of Disney content? I would love to know your opinion on this. And I know some people are saying that, well, technically it's not HBO Max, but it's actually just Max. Yeah, but, HBO Max and then just Max, one is the former is definitely better than what we have now. It's like Twitter and then there's X. I mean, you don't want to be that guy who would call it X. There's a reason why most people still call it Twitter, because Twitter is objectively a better name than X. All right, but anyways, let's see what we got here. When I first saw this report, I assume this was them doing damage control after Quiet on Set. But even that assumption was pretty flimsy, considering they took down the newer stuff. But nah, it's just a money issue. But my big question is, with all the things happening, what's going to happen to Nickelodeon? I mean, there's only so long they can rely on SpongeBob. And yeah, honestly, I do understand what you mean. Like, I do get there is a bit of a concern about what's going to be happening in Nickelodeon's future. And in that regard, I personally feel like we need to go and wait and see with what's going to be happening with Paramount's future, because I feel like that one is a much bigger question, and one that I feel like it seems like a bit of a mystery, especially when business has been going so badly for them. And again, those rumors of a possible merger or acquisition might be going on. I think first and foremost, we need to go and see with what's going to happen with Paramount, and then we will go and shift our focus onto what's going to happen to Nickelodeon from there. All right, let's see what else we got. This is honestly really upsetting. Just seeing these shows being removed, including some of which are a part of Nickelodeon's biggest franchises, even though some of them are accessible in other ways, it's upsetting. Also, my theory is that they did this because of damage control, considering Nickelodeon has been hit hard because of the Quiet on Set documentary. Nah. This is more money than anything. I don't think this really has to do anything with the Quiet on Set drama. I don't think it's really because of that. Even without Quiet on Set, Paramount still has some serious financial issues. If they would have done some legitimate damage control, then they would have done something in terms of the Dan Schneider content. Let's see now. I'm going to ask Paramount the same question I asked to Warner Brothers. Why do you even have a streaming service if you keep removing stuff from it? Disney Plus content purge seems conservative compared to the cullings Warner Brothers and Paramount have been doing. Aside from pre-movie SpongeBob and maybe the South Park specials, what does Paramount Plus even have for their subscribers once they remove their non-SpongeBob Nickelodeon stuff? The best that I could say, honestly, maybe the Halo series. And if you're not interested in that, maybe Sonic the Hedgehog. Like, I know there's still that Knuckles series that's going to be coming soon, but that's my best guess. Other than that, who the fridge knows? All right. Anyways, what other comments do we have here? With how much Paramount has been in financial trouble, I'm not exactly surprised they would resort to stuff like this. It still sucks, but what do you expect when you have a company that is purely focusing on money? Also, in the midst of all this controversy with big entertainment companies taking stuff off of their streaming platforms, it just makes Sony look better by comparison. Say what you will about them, but at least they can't resort to something like this. Well, then again, I mean, with Sony Pictures, they cannot do that because they don't even have their own platform. They're sticking with the strategy of just selling their content to other streaming platforms to go and present them. You know, rather it be on Netflix or on Disney Plus, which honestly, I feel like it should be pretty soon that they're going to be releasing some of their classic works. Like, you're going to see stuff like Jumanji, Ghostbusters, Hotel Transylvania. Like, one day it's going to happen. Suddenly they're going to migrate over to Disney Plus. I don't know when that's going to happen specifically, but I feel like that might be something that will be soon. But anyways, let's see what else we got here. Man, this month has not been great for Paramount. From their $1 billion in debt to SpongeBob taking control of all of its scheduled program to the recent documentary on Quiet on Set, and now this content purge. Man, they're in the PR nightmare. I think it's safe to say that Nickelodeon as a company is pretty much dead. Again, I cannot go and confirm that right now. I don't know if that truly is the case. Again, I feel like we're going to have to wait and see with what's going to happen with the future of Paramount before we could go and question the future of Nickelodeon. Anyways, any other comments that would be worth reading? Just want to see here. Wow, just wow. Paramount is doing a terrible job of keeping their company in business. I'm glad that Blue's Clues is back to its fame, but I hate to see Blue's Clues and You being removed from Paramount Plus, even though I never watched it. And I used to love reading the Big Nate comics, but never really cared about the show. However, it's sad to see all these shows being removed because, in the words of Mr. Krabs, money! But I hope there's a light at the end of the tunnel for these shows. Again, there is a little bit. Like, some of them that are still ongoing, it looks like they're going to have some new episodes, like the Rugrats reboot and Blue's Clues and You. It's just, yeah, like, whenever these things do happen, it still sucks when they do. So I understand the feelings on that. All right, I think I'm going to read one more comment before we go and... or actually, two more comments before we jump on to our next break. Anyways, it's very heartbreaking when I first heard about it. Between The Purge and the Quiet on Set docuseries, it's really depressing to see Nickelodeon being dead in the water. I haven't watched the shows mentioned, but it's a big slap to the face that you remove them, especially that the people that worked on those shows give a lot of love when making them. And I will say, I'm just happy that I don't grow up watching the Dan Schneider shows. I'm more of a Nick Jr. person during my youth. Yeah, I mean, on one hand, I do understand. Like, I'm someone who actually did grew up with stuff like The Amanda Show and all that, and watching Quiet on Set really did feel like a massive gut punch. But then again, I wouldn't say that Nick Jr. is all that innocent. You cannot say that about a channel that hosted a Little Bill. I'm just saying. All right, anyways, with how much Paramount has been in... Oh, no, I actually did read that. What the fridge? Hold on. Would there be any others? Okay, I think I'll go with this one, actually. I haven't read that one. God, I'm not even interested in most of the shows except for the Rugrats reboot, but it's just frustrating to see streaming services taking their executives off the service. Honestly, at this point, they might as well just stop making content if they don't waste money. Making and keeping an exclusive. Creators deserve better than just making their vision and not being able to complete it. I'm not surprised the Dan Schneider shows aren't being taken off the service. It's a business decision. Exactly. It's, really it's at the point where it's becoming more and more clear that there is a definitive line between morality and business practices. And sometimes these two do not connect together. They're like polar opposite magnets where they just flat out refuse to connect. And that's why you would see Paramount in massive trouble for a variety of reasons.